recording this session. So, hi everyone, my name is Jamie. I will be the moderator of this breakout room. First of all, I would like to welcome everyone. I would like to start with letting the coaches introduce themselves. And the first coach is Alexandre Galli.
Hi, good morning. Do you listen to me?
Yes.
Okay, this is Alex Galli. I'm from Akbar, Veolia Group. I'm leading the part of the scouting and technical watch, and I'm happy to be here and to evaluate and to do some warnings to the different presentators. And please, my first advice is please focus on customer target and not detailing a lot of the technical aspects. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alexandre. The next coach that I would like to invite to introduce himself is Jurg Vogel.
Yeah, hi. It's called Jörg Vogel.
Okay, sorry.
It's German. Sorry for that. Yes, I'm the VP of Open Innovation at Aquaporin. Basically, I'm a company making water filtration membranes, and I've been with the company from almost startup to IPO, and now commercialization, of course, of the technology. So I hope I can help you guys all the pitches to get focused based on that experience. Will be a pleasure to help. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jörg. The next coach is Karan Bagay.
Hi all. As you said, my name is Karan Bagay from Amsterdam. I'm not from Amsterdam, based here. I'm a partner at Brisk Business. We launched this startup last year with a couple of guys from investment banking team. We are supporting Dutch and some pan-European startups with fundraising and other functions that are required to get up to Series A. Happy to be here and share our insights as we've onboarded about 15 clients since we launched in January last year.
Okay, thank you very much, Karan. Our next coach is Manuela.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Jamie. I'm Manuela Pavam. I work for FI Group. FI Group is a big company of consultants that is located in all principal countries in Europe. We help companies to find, to raise fund in many kind. And as my personal experience, my sector are water, fintech, and also automotive and mobility. I'm very happy to be here. I think this session will be interesting. Thank you all.
Thank you, Manuela. Our next coach is Richard Clark.
Thanks very much, Jamie. Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Clark. I'm the Finance and Commercial Director of a company called Power Photonic Limited, which is a UK-based manufacturer of freeform micro-optics for laser applications, and was a spin-out from Heriot-Watt University in Scotland. Qualified accountant with an MBA, and I've spent the majority of my career in early-stage technology businesses in a variety of sectors, including photonics, electronics, semiconductors, instrumentation, and advanced materials. One of my achievements was to float a nanomaterials company on the UK Stock Exchange in 2005. I've been a coach and a jury member with Tech Tour for over 5 years, and this will be my second water tech event. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the presentations. You can expect me to focus mainly on the commercial and business aspects of those presentations. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. And then we have Jim Totti.
Hi, Jamie. I'm Jim Totti from Viridis Capital. I've been an investor in sustainability for a while now. I did my first water tech investment in 2002. And over the last 20 years at different times, I've managed funds in corporate venture capital, institutional and family office. Yeah, really looking forward to the pitches this morning.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I think these were all the coaches. If there is another coach, please tell me so you can introduce yourself. No? Okay, perfect. Yeah, then I would propose that we start with our first presentation, first elevator pitch, which is by request Ruben.
Yes, thank you very much for that. I really think it's going to be necessary. So my name is Ruben Moore, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Solac. I am from Amsterdam, and I actually am also from Amsterdam. So 1 in 4 people worldwide lack safe access to drinking water. And at Solac, we create a new sustainable source of water security anywhere in the world by producing water from the air around us. We have developed a system that is able to use thermal energy or heat for the process rather than electric energy, lowering costs of the produced water and making it possible to extract water from the air at much lower humidities. Now, our first target market is in Brazil, where 35 million people lack safe access to drinking water, with the government investing 130 billion euros to solve the problem. And we're currently building our first full-scale system to be demonstrated to our launching customer in Brazil, after which we will scale up throughout the region in 2025 and 2026.
Okay, thank you very much, Ruben. This was 47 seconds, so you still have some time left. Coaches, if you have any feedback, please start now.
I thought it's a very clear presentation, very clear on the market opportunity and what you're doing to solve it. I thought it came across very well.
Thank you very much.
Yes, also for me is an interesting pitch. I only had a closing sentence. You have 7 seconds more. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Manuela and Richard. Any other coaches with some feedback? If not, we can.
It's very clear.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Rupa. So if you want, you can start with. If there is not any more feedback, you can start with your presentation.
Okay, let me just wait. Am I muted now or?
No, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm just gonna time this. Okay, so again, my name is Ruben Moore. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Solac, and I'm very excited today to talk to you about our new way of providing water security anywhere in the world. Now, water, what is very normal to have in a lot of places in the world, and especially in the Netherlands, where I'm from, is one of our biggest problems worldwide. And unfortunately, it's only getting worse. Now, for many places, the only real solution that people have is to transport water over sometimes very long distances. And this water trucking is extremely expensive, it's polluting, it's unreliable, and it's often also unsafe regarding the water quality. Now, for many of these places, there will soon be a viable and sustainable alternative in the enormous amount of water in the air surrounding us. Now, at Solac, we develop air-to-water technology to make use of this enormous potential. Our system extracts pure drinking water out of the air, can do this practically anywhere in the world without the need of any existing infrastructure, and fully based on solar energy. In this slide, you see a 3D render or a mock-up of a full-scale system with a production capacity of between 2,000 and 5,000 liters of water per day, depending on the climatological parameters. Now, the technology is developed to be reliable, to be sustainable, and to be safe regarding the water quality. But the most important thing is simply that it soon also will be more affordable than this water trucking. Because only if we can develop a system that is cheaper than any current alternative in these places can we really offer a solution. So the focus in the development of our technology has always been in getting the price of the produced water as low as possible. And it's not a performance or an efficiency or a production optimization. Now, when we talk about air-to-water technology, there's really 2 ways to extract water from the air. These are cooling condensation and wet desiccation. Almost all existing technologies use cooling condensation, in which electric energy is used to create a cold surface area on which water condenses. It's a relatively simple process, but it needs an awful lot of electric energy and is only really possible at relatively high humidities. So how is it then that we can develop technology that can produce water for such low cost and our competitors cannot? Well, this has to do with our innovative absorption mechanism that we developed, in which we use a hygroscopic liquid as an intermediate step where we first absorb the water into this liquid, and then we use thermal energy from the sun or heat from the sun for a distillation process to get that water back out. And this comes with many advantages, but the most important are simply that the cost of the produced water can be much lower and that we can extract water from the air at much lower humidities. Now, in 2022, we developed, built, and tested our first integrated prototype at 1/10 scale in Brazil. And we performed a whole lot of different experiments and tests at different temperatures and humidities in order to test the working principle of the integrated system, but also in order to validate our assumptions in terms of production. And with the help of these validated simulations, we can now calculate what a commercial system will do under different climatological parameters, so different locations or throughout the year, for instance. Now, a full-scale system will have 10 times the production as the prototype, but it will be twice the size, so 2 shipping containers on top of each other. Now, there's a whole lot of places in the world where this type of technology can offer a solution. And we will first really be focusing on the northeastern part of Brazil, in the so-called semi-arid region there, where the droughts are getting worse and worse each year. And there's a whole lot of different applications or use cases that can make use of this technology. But we will first really be focusing on delivering high-quality drinking water in places where there really isn't any alternative source of water other than this transport. And for the northeastern part of Brazil, it's very clear. There's 1.6 million people that rely on these water trucks each day, year-round, and they deliver 20 liters of water per day. That's an enormous amount of water that's being trucked, an enormous amount of impact that we can create there. Now, I actually just got back from Brazil on Thursday or Friday. It was an amazing trip, visiting a lot of different locations, potential partners and customers. And we're setting up commercial projects for 2025, 2026 at local governments, public water utilities of the states, and also a private company. But currently we're building our first full-scale unit to be demonstrated at our launching customer in the municipality of Quixeramobim in the state of Ceará. And this is a municipality with around 90,000 people spread out over more than 400 remote communities that are for a very large bit dependent on this water trucking. Now, our current estimate is that with our first commercial systems, we can produce water for around 12.5 euros per cubic meter. Within a few years, we can be under 10 euros and go towards 5 euros per cubic meter in the long term due to economies of scale. Now, if we're able to reach our targets in terms of this price, then scaling up production will really be our biggest bottleneck. Because the price for this water trucking in that area, dependent on the distance to a water source, can be between 9 euros and sometimes 25 euros per cubic meter. So this means that there's already place for more than 3,000 of our systems in only this one state in Brazil that will then directly be offering a cost reduction. And then we're not even talking about the reliability and the sustainability and the safety that comes with it. Now, the plan is first to focus on selling the hardware. And once we've installed enough systems to learn about necessary adjustments or possible improvements to the system, the plan is to switch over to a water as a service model, in which we no longer will be selling the hardware, but really can deliver water anywhere in the world. Now, our team consists of the founders of Solac, Evert van Voorthuizen, Peter Solleveld, and myself. Evert is really the inventor of the working principle of our absorber. In terms of technical development, we have now some new people on board with a whole lot of experience in early stage hardware development. And we have some business developers that started part-time and that are ready to join the team full-time in the next year. Now, we've been developing this technology since 2016-17. And since then, we've really brought it from a proof of concept of our absorber at a very small scale to the current prototype, integrated prototype at 1/10 scale that we have now. And currently, we need one final technical and financial push to bring our technology from our current prototype to commercial systems and to be able to demonstrate these to our partners, potential customers, and launching customer there in Brazil. And for this, I think I'm not able to go to the next slide for some reason. Anyway, for this, we have a total funding need of 1.6 million euros, of which 1 million has already been committed for a large part in subsidies and also in a convertible loan from the Netherlands enabling water technology. And we think that the tech tour could be the perfect fit to find co-financing for the gap that we currently still have. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ruben. This was 7 minutes and 6 seconds.
Here we go.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
yeah. So this was 7 minutes and 6 seconds, but with your little problem, yeah, it would be 7 minutes, so perfect timing. I don't see any questions in the chat from the coaches, but coaches, if you have feedback or questions, please ask them now. Richard, if you want, you can ask him now. Yeah.
I had a few questions. One was around the IP and what IP protection you have for the technology. I had another question about who the customers will actually be and the routes to market. And then I had a question about the business model. Do you want to just talk a bit about the IP and the customers a bit first?
Sure, sure. So IP is in the way that we absorb the water from the air into this hygroscopic liquid. So there are existing technologies that do wet desiccation, in
Yeah.
which you use a desiccant. I don't know if you're aware of these technologies. You use a desiccant to absorb water from the air that needs basically no energy. You just need to create the surface area.
Right.
And one of the challenges in air-to-water technology for wet desiccation is the enormous amount of electric energy that you could still need to create this large surface area that comes in contact with the air. And we've developed a proprietary way to do this with very little electric energy.
Okay. And you have patents pending on this technology.
Patent pending, yes. Not patent there yet, but pending.
Okay. Okay. I think, yeah, you probably need to clarify your IP a little bit in the presentation.
Okay. Yeah, this was actually the slide that I took out just because I knew that 7 minutes would be. I needed to do something else. I could put this in instead of the comparison.
The competition and the comparison with the competition is important also. I wouldn't take that out.
Well, I'll keep this in after so that when people ask, I have this slide.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And the customers, who will the customers actually be?
Yeah, so on that, we have a whole lot more information from the past few weeks. So for the past year or two, we've been really focusing on local government, where municipalities or mayors themselves are going to buy this technology, and we have already done a lot of business development there and are pretty far, but it remains a risk, right? Basically, we already noticed that in each state in Brazil, the business development route and the customer will be different, because in some states, the water utility is responsible for small communities down to 100 people. And other states, the water utility is responsible for urban areas with more than 50,000 people. So that changes a lot, right? The third route, which is new, which is most interesting, is the very large private water utility organizations in Brazil that are now taking over a lot of the public organizations. So we had some meetings with them.
I think you probably need to just explain that. If you can get that across in a reasonably concise way, but clearly, yeah, that's something I think that needs to be explained a bit more.
Yeah, I can definitely do that in this slide, just to have a little bit more idea of these routes. And the fourth route is big corporates that spend 1% of their ESG of their revenues on ESG in Brazil, which could be a very easy way to put some commercial systems down, but it's not exactly why we're doing this, to be honest.
Okay.
And the important part, complementing what Richard said, is the focused totally in the target market, because the target market at the end is the target, the market that you say between $9 and $25 per cubic meter. I think it's when you put the worldwide map, it's important to focus on which are the target market, because it's easy to put a lot of marks on red or on yellow, but the target market, it's a real case for the investors to decide, okay, how I'm going to development and how I'm going to buy in that case. So the target market is very important. The real target market, I'm saying.
Okay.
Thank you, Richard and Alex. I
think Richard had a third question, but I don't remember what it was.
It was just sorry, yes, it was just about the business model. I didn't quite understand the logic of moving from a hardware sales model to a water as a service model. I mean, do you really want to be putting all that amount of investment in? I would have thought keeping it simple, either as focusing on hardware sales or licensing the technology to utilities or something might make a bit more sense. But
No, that absolutely could be. And I think the water as a service is more of a long-term goal, especially a lot of investors would like to see some type of recurring revenue there. The hardware, definitely in the beginning when we're selling to water utilities and to local government, is very important because within 5 years, if there's a new politician, they could just cancel the contracts, right? So we really have to sell the hardware at first. But for the more private route or NGOs, for instance, or temporary solutions, it could be that we can sell water at location for quite a premium. So, I mean, it's something to explore. I wouldn't say that's set in stone.
yeah, okay, that's great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Richard. The next question is from Jim.
Hi, I've changed my mind actually. You did actually show your funding slide just after I asked it. Can I ask a different question? Hydrogen electrolysis. I'm guessing this is quite an interesting option for people who are doing electrolysis with solar PV in desert environments. Can you perhaps just talk about that a little? And is that a route for you to get to scale faster than trying to do drinking water?
Yes, 100%. I mean, when looking for investors, I tend to pitch drinking water for places where there is no water. But remote green hydrogen is an alternative route that could be huge. So basically, the electrolysis process produces waste heat at 60 to 80 degrees, which is exactly what we need for the process. And the waste heat is more than 2 times what we need for the water necessary for the green hydrogen electrolysis. So absolutely. I mean, in places where people want to reduce kilowatt hour electric costs in the middle of a desert, but there's no water, then suddenly there is a source of water. So that could be huge. I just tend to keep that for a second meeting, to be honest.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Next question is from Manuela.
Yes, it was about the the intellectual property rights, but there was already an answer about this. I don't have another question for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Manuela. Then we have Karan.
Yeah, my question was the hardware. Where is it manufactured and what is the useful life? Just looking at the payback period of 8 years, I mean, looks a bit steep, but I guess it's a new technology, so it will probably reduce. If you can shed some light around there.
So, I mean, we assume 15 to 20 years at least, only because our competitors do the same. The most critical component of our technology that is outsourced has a lifetime of 30 years. But the technology is low tech enough that there's actually no reason to think we can't just keep replacing sensors, valves, pumps in order to keep the system running. We're planning to first manufacture the first, let's say, 5, 10 systems in the Netherlands. But with the momentum that we notice when we're in Brazil, so now I'm back in Holland and it'll probably kind of fade away a little bit, but when we're in Brazil, there's so much momentum that we are looking up to set up a Brazilian entity for Brazilian investment and for Brazilian manufacturing, because then we could just cut the cost in half, basically, right? And I assume that we can find basically any of the components we need there. Our IP, we will first, so the absorbers will first continue to produce in the Netherlands until we know enough about our partners and stuff like that.
Clear, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Karan. Next question is from Jörg.
Yeah, basically there's a couple of things. One, like during your, just in general for your presentation, there is one slide where you show kind of a graph somehow, like where you're trying to like explain something. I didn't get the graph at all. I don't know if you need that in there at all, to be honest. There's other things you, like also the other judges or like the other coaches have mentioned that might be more important to put in, like IPR and so on. But now the other question is like, for example, what popped to mind is like, how easy is it to operate for the end customer, for example, like special training or maintenance and so on, as well, especially in remote areas with where installed base, or like it's a lot of like it's high sunshine, probably high humidity, so it might be happening something to it. And the other one would be like scalability, especially when you talked about 2 to 3 cubic meters for the containerized system. In principle, that's not much. If you then talk larger cities, or even, well, when you mention green hydrogen, that is huge amounts of water that you need for that supply.
So the operation, I mean, we can remotely control and operate everything, but most importantly, it's not too complicated. So we will have partners that know how everything works, and we will be able to see if a sensor needs to be replaced or a valve. One of the interesting things is that the system is, there's 2 or 3 absorbers per container. So if one of them breaks down, we can still produce 2/3 of the water. The production is 2,000 to 5,000 liters per day. That indeed, I mean, that's nothing when you're talking about water, right? When you're talking about the economic value of water. But that can be, when replacing these water trucks for drinking water, that can be for 1,000 people. Or when you're replacing the water trucks for wash and sanitation and hygiene also, then there's a whole lot of villages there that have, 50 families or 30 families, and that's the right size for that, right? In terms of scalability towards larger cities, we try to make it very clear that if you have groundwater or seawater that you can sustainably use, then do that, right? But if either there is no groundwater or seawater, or you cannot sustainably do that because of some type of ecosystem, or you're depleting it or something, then this can offer a solution. In terms of green hydrogen,
yeah, sorry. It's like you just mentioned that you're like going to like operate with like local operators. It's maybe a good point to put in there in the slide somewhere, and what your model looks like, because you're not going to remotely control or survey everything yourself once it's implemented, right? So it's good to know, it's like, how you're going to implement the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. And then the green hydrogen hitting a large volume. And if we're talking about like the huge plants in Brazil that are going to be transporting to Holland, absolutely, we cannot produce water for that. But small to medium-sized electrolyzers are within the range of, let's say, 5 of our systems to 20 of our systems, right? So all we'd have to do is develop a system that's slightly larger, and then a medium scale. It is actually, I assumed also when I got into the schematic, I thought there must be something, the temperature must be too low of the waste heat, or the amounts must be too high. But we actually are going to be doing a project with TNO, the Dutch Research Institute, specifically working towards a pilot for green hydrogen. So it is actually something that could be viable.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, coaches.
Copy these questions quickly.
Yeah, no problem. Are there any other questions from the coaches?
The only other thing I would just think on reflection is a roadmap is always useful. How you're going to roll the technology out. That would be great. If you could just extend that maybe a little bit more.
No, absolutely. I have a commercial roadmap. It's kind of either the technical roadmap or the commercial one. But
you probably need both, really.
Yeah, I mean, I could go through both of them quickly, if that would help. Maybe we have 10 minutes. That'll help.
Yeah.
But okay, thank you.
Okay, perfect. So, if there are no questions anymore from the coaches, Ruben, feel free to leave this room. Ina will be in the main room and she'll explain the next steps. And yeah, hope you will feel better later.
Yeah, me too. I'll be fine. Thank you very much
Okay,
for that, because it does make a difference for me right now, to be honest.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you all. See you soon.
Bye, Ruben.
Bye.
The next presenting company is Flowloop. So Truls, if you are ready to start with your elevator pitch, feel free to start.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Truls, CEO and co-founder at Flowloop. Flowloop have developed a recirculating shower saving up to 80% water and 70% energy and CO2. It can be installed in new and existing bathrooms in only 2 hours. We have about 50 units installed on commercial basis and are proving product market fit during 24 and 25, while we are reducing unit cost in collaboration with a global appliance manufacturer. This will enable us to scale internationally from 2026 and onwards. Flowloop is currently raising 2.5 million euros to consolidate and validate new market segments to prepare for rapid scale-up when low unit production cost has been secured. As an existing investor, IKEA is participating, and another strategic investor is evaluating participation of the current fundraising round. So approximately 50% is secured. To close the round, Flowloop is looking for an initial investor investing 1 to 2 million euros. Thank you.
Thank you, Truls. It was a bit long. It was 1 minute and 15 seconds. So for the event, you will have to shorten it. I don't see any questions yet in the chat, but coaches, if you have any feedback, please take the floor.
Maybe just in general for that. Try to practice it a couple times more so that it's more like an even flow when you have your pitch, and probably then you also get the time down probably.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Jörg. Any other feedback or questions from the coaches?
I think if you're selling this to directly to consumers, then you really need to, I think, focus on the benefits to them. I mean, yes, it saves heat, yes, it saves water, but what is the payback on the investment to a consumer? If the payback period is very short, that's going to attract attention.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Any other feedback? Yes, Christian, welcome, by the way.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry for being a bit late.
No problem.
Yeah, I like the pitch very much. I think I was one of the guys that nominated Flowloop. In terms of the elevator pitch, please use the visual of the actual shower to your advantage. I mean, you have a beautiful design. Make sure that people know directly what's it all about.
Okay, thank you, Christian. Any other feedback? No. Okay, Truls, and you can start with your presentation.
Thank you. Let me just share my screen down here. Are the screens right now?
No, you have to put it full screen because
I need to switch then. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not in presentation mode.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was before, but just here.
I think you have to switch your screens because you
Yeah,
can see your
but-
presenter mode.
I know I need to switch screen, but I don't know how to get that on. I'm not that familiar with. I always use Teams and not.
Normally, when are you using? Now we see the right screen, but now you just have to click on start presenting on your PowerPoint.
Yes.
Now we see the wrong screen again.
But you don't see the right screen now, do you?
No, now we see the presentation mode. Are you using two screens?
Yes.
Yeah, so when you click share screen, you should have an option one screen or screen two. I think it should be screen
Okay.
two or one, yeah.
Share. It's I'm sorry. I will. What happens if I? Yeah, sure. Now I have it. So I can switch screen. Sorry for the delay here.
That's
No
it.
problem. Yeah, now we can see.
Good.
Thank you. Okay, good luck.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Troels. I will present FlowLoop's recirculating shower for you. It can be installed in new and existing bathrooms, and it saves up to 80% water and 70% energy, and it gives a payback time of roughly 3 years. Depending on water and utility bills and consumption, it will save roughly 500 euros per year. We are right now in the phase where we are proving the product in the market. We are selling to B2B customers like hotels, residential building companies that offer changing facilities for their employees and schools. And we are now looking to raise 2.5 million euros to consolidate and validate our market segments while we are reducing the unit cost. And we are looking for an additional investor to join our cap table. IKEA holds 25% of the shares today, and the founders the last 50% or the last amount. FlowLoop was founded back in 2016. We have had a close collaboration with IKEA that invested in FlowLoop in 2022. And we now have our own production setup where we are producing our shower, and we will doing 24 and 25 validate the market segments while we are industrializing with an appliance manufacturer. And then we are ready to scale from 26 and onwards. Our current customers are B2B customers in hotels, different companies and schools. And people install our shower to save water and energy while we are showering. Showering is the most water-consuming things in our home. 30 to 40% of our water consumption goes for showering. We will be selling the showers to our existing customers, doing 24, to new customers where we already have submitted offers, and to new customers that are in our lead database but not contacted yet. And we expect to install another 50 showers during 24 and then 500 showers next year. And then comes high scale once we can source from the appliance manufacturer. As said, we are selling into B2B customers in offices, hotels, schools, and also the property segment. So when large residential buildings are being constructed or refurbished. Currently, we are selling in our own brand, but with IKEA, we have a license agreement, and we can also license the technology to shower manufacturers further down the road. We are selling into a market that is steadily growing for shower heads and taps, but the smart bathroom market is growing rather rapidly. And furthermore, we have a strong tailwind from the regulatory market that is supporting CO2 reductions, where there's a large focus on reducing the footprints of our buildings. Our shower can roughly reduce the footprint with about 20% at a building level due to reduced energy consumption. Our revenue will be limited for the next couple of years, and then we will really start to increase the revenue once we can source the product at a low cost from the appliance manufacturer. Right now, our product is rather expensive to produce in our own assembly facilities, but we will be able to source it at a much lower rate in a couple of years' time. As said, we have a very close collaboration with IKEA. They have a license. We have a license agreement with them where they can get the products we are also getting from the contract manufacturer, and they can sell it in their stores to the B2C customers. Flowloop will be focusing on the B2B customers, and we can use the same technology platform and then put different designs and also add more functionality to our shower in. A little more about the product. The shower works with that it recirculates the water from the shower floor, pulls it in to a suction inlet with an integrated pre-filter, microfilter the water, add hot water to compensate for the heat loss, and then UV purify the water on the way to the shower head. We have IP around our retrofit installations, our drains. The investment will be used to prove product market fit, to increase the gross margin, and to prepare for international scale. And we are looking at an investment of 1 million euros, together with investment from an other strategic investor and IKEA, summing up to 2.5 million euros. Thank you.
Thank you, Truls. 5 minutes and 55 seconds, so you still have some time left. Okay, coaches, the first question is from Richard Clark. Please, Richard.
Yeah, I was interested in knowing a bit more about the competition. Are you unique in this space? Is anyone else doing shower recirculation using a different technology? How defensible is the technology? You mentioned there is some IP that's been patented, but the question is how strong is it? How comfortable are you that nobody can copy your concept?
The idea of recirculating showers are rather old. It has a couple of 100 years behind it. We are the only one that have a solution that you can install in existing bathrooms without rebuilding your bathroom. The other recycling shower manufacturers need to rebuild the bathroom where they install a drain and pull the water up from the drain. We pull it from the shower floor. And then furthermore, through our collaboration with IKEA and the appliance manufacturer, we will be very tough to compete with on unit cost in a very foreseeable future.
Okay, that's great. I think that needs to be in the presentation somewhere.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Next is Alex.
Hi, you listen to me?
Yes.
Oh, what I commented, I think the other coaches commented the same, that there is too much information. For example, in the second slide, there is a concentrated information trying to give examples on IKEA. And then later on, there are some slides with as much information. I think it must be simpler, because if not, in 7 minutes, it's complicated to catch all the information. I would suggest you to reduce the quantity of sentences and also give high and big highlights of what is going on. I think so that there are other coaches put similar suggestions in the chat.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. The next feedback is from Jörg.
Yeah, basically it's like I second also what Alex was saying with the it's to overload everything. So it does like it's hard to like concentrate either on reading or on listening. So like it would be more beneficial to listen, of course. But the other things, like I also had some questions later on. It's like basically you mentioned this that you have your appliance supplier somewhere that like you bring out the costs down, but like it's kind of unclear to me. Like, are you going to like source it there? Is it going to be a CMO, or is that if it's appliance supplier, are they then doing the distribution as well? So it's like this bit, like what's your business setup then basically would be nice to know.
We will source the products from the appliance manufacturer.
Like the complete product.
Yes.
So it's basically like you're having them as a CMO.
Yes.
Okay, that would be useful to like know, and where does your revenue then come from, that you basically have the sales network then basically. So you just put a margin on top of that, but you source, and then you have the whole distribution network basically, the sales force basically.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jörg. Next question is from Jim.
Actually, similar comments to what people have made. I mean, these slides are what I would be showing in a second or even third meeting, not a first meeting. But I think others have made similar comments. I mean, I would stress that this is an area where there's quite a few companies looking at water reuse in these kind of markets. So I think the competitor analysis slide is really important here, because a lot of the VCs you're pitching to will have seen quite a lot of companies similar to yours.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Jim. And then last feedback is from Manuela.
Yes, my feedback is related to too much content in the slide. I don't want to make some repetition, because you understand the truths that this is the problem. Because also it's not easy to understand what are you saying, showing too much content in the same moment. So I think it's better if you underline some contents and delete that one that are not very, very, very important. That's all. Thank you.
Yes. I take the point that less is more.
Yeah, less is more. Yes.
I have a question, Truls, or at least an observation. I am not entirely sure whether you should emphasize the part that IKEA is playing in your company at such a big proportion of the pitch itself. I think IKEA can be a blessing in disguise, but also a pretty strong player on your cap table, provided their current holdings and also their involvement in this round, which would I think it's on one end it's good, but as an investor I would also see the potential danger of having such a large company on your cap table, provided their strong bargaining power.
Yes, but the deals that we have had to negotiate with them are pretty much set. Of course, they have a strong negotiation power, but I think going forward from here, it's to our advantage, and they are very collaborative. I'm very happy at having them at the board, and I think they are playing a very constructive role. And of course, they invested to secure their own interest in getting a product for their warehouses, but they also want to see Flowloop succeed here.
Yeah, I think it's as said, can be a very strong partner, specifically if you're ramping up your sales with an X10 going from 50 to 500, for example. I think you can position IKEA and their role in the organization quite well there. And then I would basically turn it around and say, because they have such a big belief in Flowloop as a company, they also invested.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Korsjan. I think Jörg got another question.
Yeah, so it's just I just came to think about it because like when I was thinking about the technical slide you had there, which is way too much as well. But anyways, so it's like you're aiming then at a one-time sales, or because there will be consumables in the whole shower system, right? Are you then a service partner? Is the service contract connected to it, or does the end consumer then has to like buy replacement parts? Or do you have any thoughts on that, basically?
Yes, you subscribe to a maintenance packet that includes filters and cleaning tablets and an IoT connection, so you can see the savings and shower patterns.
Okay.
And it costs
That was
€150 per year.
Yeah, that's probably nice to like mention somewhere. Maybe you've done that, but since it was a lot to take in, I didn't really see it. So concentrate on the main messages, I would say.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other feedback from the coaches?
I think
No.
the only other thing that I would add is that I think you presented at the last Water Tech event last year. So you may find that you're presenting to similar people or people who saw you last year, in which case you probably need to be prepared to answer questions about what you've actually achieved over the last 12 months and how you've moved things forward over that period.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Richard. More feedback? If not, then thank you, Truls. I hope the feedback and the questions were helpful for you. Thank you for the presentation and the elevator pitch. Now I would like to continue to our last presentation, which will be given by Anya.
Thanks for good feedback. I appreciate it. See you in Aarhus.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I think I can start, yeah. My name is Anya. I'm the CEO of company based in Baltics, Piagro Minerals. We are an early stage company working on developing technology that allows us to recover nutrients, specifically phosphorus from wastewater, and we can use it later for an agriculture. I have amazing co-founders in the team with already extensive experience on building deep tech startups, and also an industry expert in the core team. Our technology helps municipal and industrial wastewater treatment plants to clean the wastewater from nutrients and to the levels that are strictly regulated by law. And this regulation is getting more and more serious as we speak. And we help them to lower their wastewater treatment costs, as well as we increase phosphorus treatment efficiency. And the traditional alternatives are mostly chemical solutions. They're expensive and they cannot really fully ensure the treatment that are needed in the specific industries. And our filter is based on mineral material, so it's a sustainable solution. It works with higher efficiency and it can recover phosphorus and it can be later on applied as a fertilizer. So this is it from me. I will just shortly change my camera so you see me while I do that, extended presentation.
Okay, thank you, Anya. This was also a bit long, 1 minute and 20 seconds, so you will have to shorten it a little bit. Also, Truls, could you please stop sharing your screen? Yes, thank you. Okay, coaches, the floor is yours if you have any feedback for Anya.
Maybe I can start. It was, as you said, a bit long and a bit confused as well. To me, it was not really clear what. It's like you're looping back to like help them and phosphor and so on. As I don't think you necessarily need a team in the 1 minute pitch either. But I tried to like focus on the main benefits what you're addressing and like what your solution is without too much technical detail, actually.
Okay, thank you, Jörg. Any other feedback?
Yeah, I think it needs a bit more focus, and yeah, really a focus on the real benefits of your solution, and why phosphorus is a particular issue. It was just a little bit rambling. I think you need to be very crisp in the elevator pitch.
Thank you, Richard. More feedback? No? Okay, then Anya, you can start sharing your screen and start with your presentation.
Okay. So yeah, as I already started, we are working on technology that recovers this nutrient phosphorus from wastewater streams. And yeah, I want to mention my team. I'm the CEO leading the team and execution. We have co-founders in the team that has more than 15 years of experience in technology transfer and commercialization of science-based technologies. We have also 2 scientists working on the product developer as well as the industry expert from wastewater treatment industry. Tremendous amount of this super important nutrient phosphorus is being discharged into the European waters, rivers, and oceans from all over Europe. And while polluting waters and damaging ecosystem, this number highlights the struggle of wastewater treatment industry to treat the water from nutrients to the levels that are acquired by the regulations. And we have done extensive interviews with an industry, municipal and industrial manufacturing companies, and we see that they do not comply in several cases. They do not comply with the regulations, and they are struggling to purify their waters from the phosphorus to the needed amount of to the needed levels, and they are paying penalties for that on yearly and monthly basis. From the other point, we also have agriculture market and the farmers who are all the time looking for more affordable fertilizers. And our technology is based on circular economy principle. With it, we can recover phosphorus from wastewater with the help of Letonite water filter that contains this unique locally sourced mineral material we are working with. And later on, we can, after recovering, not only treating the water, but recovering the phosphorus, it can be applied as a fertilizer on the agricultural lands. We've been doing client segmentation activities, and we are still in the progress of finding, validating our product market fit. However, we see that there is a strong need for this kind of solution in the industries like metal production, dairy production, beer production, and others. And with our filter, we work in the post-treatment process, and we can not only treat the water to the regulations, to the levels that are needed by regulations, but we can recover the phosphorus together with our mineral material, and we can sell it later on as a fertilizer to the agricultural industry. As I mentioned, our technology is based on the mineral material. We source it at the moment in Latvia. However, it's highly available around Europe. and and with us, we have found the way how to treat it, so it gets this unique function of recovering phosphorus in a really high efficiency. Our business model, we are working with the two markets, so fertilizer industry and wastewater industry, and here we see it mentioned only the fertilizer industry, but we have two revenue streams in our business model. It's selling nutrient treatment as a service for the municipal and industry wastewater treatment plants, and later on selling this recovered phosphorus to the fertilizer industry as a product. We have done, since last year, we started to work outside of the laboratory and into the fields, and we have done quite a lot of testing with municipal companies from Latvia, and we are seeing really good recovering rates for the phosphorus. We have acquired also state support for working with the 3 problematic wastewater treatment plants, and we are doing our tests and scaling our prototypes as we speak. This year, our aim is to validate our technology not only in the Baltic level, but outside. So we're establishing partnerships outside of the Baltics, and we are looking for pre-seed investment as a follow-up to already acquired EIT raw materials investment to finish our validation and prepare for the demonstration in industry by the end of next year. So this is me. I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Anya. 5 minutes and 48 seconds, so we still have some time left with the presentation. The first question is from Richard, so please, Richard. Or first suggestion.
Yes, I mean, the suggestion was that you left the team slide until the end and focused on the problem and the solution at the start. If it would give you more impact, I think, to the presentation. And then the other question was whether you had patent or IP protection for the technology, and why is it that other water treatment systems struggle so much to extract the phosphorus adequately?
So we are going towards patenting this new material, this letonite. It's mineral material. We are still in the process because we see that there is a certain scale at which level we will be ready to do that. And so yeah, but it's patentable material, and we are going towards that direction. And at the moment, they are struggling. And what I also wanted to mention that it's not only about the needs of today, because the new European regulations that are already being accepted this year will be more restricted on which and on how many wastewater treatment plants all around Europe will have to treat the water from phosphorus from these nutrients. So the market is getting wider. We actually see only one direct competitor that is working with similar technology as we do. However, indirect competitors, that is these chemical solutions, they're just too expensive for the small scale and medium scale wastewater treatment stations and plants, and they just do not work as efficiently as it is needed to cover fully the phosphorus.
I would suggest that you put a bit more on the competition in your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Richard. The next question is from Jörg.
Yeah, obviously I had two, like IP we have covered already. The other one was basically you're concentrating a lot on Europe as well. I guess phosphorus is not only a European problem, right? It's probably only because the regulations are there, but if there's a compelling business case with like making fertilizer, you might have more than the European market maybe. Don't know if you have any plans for that.
Yeah, we have a reason why we are looking at the moment at Europe because of the regulations, and because the regulatory has said that there is a need for a stronger treatment of the phosphorus, and we see our future market there. And yeah, we are at the moment we are looking at two types of market niches. One is working with the customers that needs to cover these small levels of water treatment. It means that they already have treated to a certain level, but they just cannot treat it fully. So our place could be there. However, there is also opportunity to work with the more saturated phosphorus levels, and that could be later more beneficial for the production of fertilizer. So we are still trying to do this like client segmentation and product market fit activity till the end, so we know where do we stand.
But the driver for I know it's like if you're going to talk to municipalities or basically like wastewater treatment plants, they're always tight on money, right? So like the driver is the regulation, but like then the benefit would come if they have a customer as well, right? That wants to get the material, the phosphorus. But have you then factored in that I guess your material works as an adsorbent. So like at some point it's used up, so you have to replace it, you have to transport it back and forth, or maybe transport it to the customer or whatsoever. Did you factor all that in your costs as well?
Benefits? Yeah, and we actually see, I mentioned we have this one direct competitor, and it performs good on market. However, its biggest let's say fail but minus is the maintenance, and we are doing it differently. So we are designing our filter that way that the maintenance will be much easier for everybody that works there, and these our materials will be our filter will be more easily changeable than those of competitors, so it can be applied and sell further on.
Like the ease of use is maybe also something you want to put in then if it's that easy, because like your end customers are like don't have any like highly skilled personnel on site, so usually so like ease of use is a good point to emphasize.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. No?
I have one question. I don't think it's trivial or not, but what is lentinite? It's a real mineral, or it's a modified material that you have processed? I think it's important to can I go to the nature and take that and put in my filter? What's that? It's not clear for me, and I think the audience, it's important to know also.
Yeah, so it's a good question. I should mention it more. It's a mineral material we have treated in the specific way, so it becomes like a new material with a new previously unexplored like functionality of this phosphorus recovery.
That's important to explain, because that gives value to. If not, it's you go and take the rock and put it, and I don't think so. It's that. It's important to put that on value.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alex. I think Jim has a question.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand for wastewater utilities, what's their financial return for doing this? What do they have to invest in CapEx? What are the costs to buy your material and to harvest it? What does their financial payback look like?
These are certainly costs we are still defining. However, as much as we have talked and with an industry, we can well, at the moment, as the niche, the client niche we are looking at and working with, if they cannot fully treat the water, they're paying penalties for that. And this is something we can like in our case, when we bring like our solution to them, it will cost the same as the alternatives. However, with higher efficiency, there won't be this need for like extra costs they are paying now. And yeah, this is the one of the like most important things. And yeah.
Can I ask which European countries charge penalties for leaving phosphorus in wastewater?
Baltic countries, they do.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Any other questions or feedback? Manuela?
Oh, yes, I was thinking about the presentation in general, and I think that it's too generic with respect to the market. I mean, it's clear that you are focused on the European market, but I think it will be better to identify one or two countries now. Also, yes, from geographical point of view, because this give your solution more sprint. I mean, if you have an horizon for a first market to reach, I think this is something that you have to add or you think about it in your presentation. You have also enough time to add some more explanation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Manuela. Any other questions or feedback? No? Okay, then thank you very much. This was our last presentation of the day. For the presenters, you can just leave the room and then Ina will give you feedback about what are the next steps, and you have to fill in a short survey. Same for the coaches. But coaches, it's still early. We're done early, so if you want, you don't have to. You can also join another breakout room to help them, but it's not prohibited. It's just free. So thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
You can now leave the room.
Thank you all.
Thank you. See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.
I hope that you see my screen again. Okay, I will just ask my colleagues to stop the recording so I can start the recording.